And what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? And that concludes the 2025 NFL Draft for the Houston Texans. Real quick, drop me your overall grade down below in the comments. How do you think General Manager Nick Caserio and Head Coach D'Amico Ryans handled this draft? With that being said, we're going to jump right into it. We're on the PFF website where the Houston Texans got a beat. I'm surprised by that. I am a fan of this draft. I do think you got some day one impactful players. However, the concerns heading into this draft are the same concerns after, which are who is going to be protecting CJ Stroud? Because right now, that's my biggest concern. The Texans did nothing to improve their offensive line in 2025 during this draft. And I say 2025 because the second round pick, Ariante Ursery out of Minnesota, I don't think he starts or plays significant amount of snaps in year one. I do think he could be your tackle of the future. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and start second round because remember the Houston Texans traded out of pick 25 after having Matthew Golden and Donovan Jackson Jr. sniped by the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. With that being said, in the second round, pick 34, the Houston Texans went with Jaden Higgins, wide receiver out of Iowa State. PFF says Higgins was one of the few. Let me just share this. Give me 1 second so we can all read this together. All right. Higgins was one of the few receivers at the top of this draft class with the ideal X receiver at 6'4" and 215 pounds, and he added to that physical profile with strong testing across the board at the NFL Combine. He profiles as a reliable possession receiver who dropped just 3 of his 209 targets over the past 2 seasons at Iowa State. It's not their biggest need along the O-line, but adding another weapon for CJ Stroud makes a lot of sense given Stephon Diggs' departure and Tank Dell coming off of a major injury. Like we've talked about before, I don't think Tank Dell is going to be playing for you this season at all. And to be honest, I don't think he plays really the following season until halfway of the year. But let's go to the draft profile on Jaden Higgins. Hold on, I have to switch the let me see. There you go. Higgins is a reliable possession receiver who can run a diverse route tree from any alignment thanks to impressive foot quickness. He won't be an athletic standout in the NFL, but he'll often be in the right place at the right time. That sounds like a reliable receiver. Higgins came from humble college football beginnings as a 0-star recruit. He spent his first 2 seasons at Eastern Kentucky before jumping to Iowa State in the transfer portal, hoping to continue the pipeline of the NFL receivers coming out of Ames, Iowa, including Hakeem Butler, Adam Lazard, and Xavier Hutchinson. Higgins is well built for an X receiver with some added wiggle and agility for a big man. As a possession type, he has reliable hands and consistently catches the ball away from his body. He brings good footwork and a variety of releases to effectively get off press coverage. He also knows how to run almost all of the routes in the tree. While Higgins isn't a consistent winner with athleticism before and after the catch, he can still create separation due to his savviness and foot quickness. He is a willing blocker with good length. 6'4", 215 pounds, 22 years of age. His stats. So I'm guessing 2024 was his first season with the Iowa State Cyclones. 87 catches, 1,185 yards, 9 touchdowns. The 2 years before, 53 catches for 983 yards, 6 tutties. And the year before that, 2022, 58 catches, 747 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Look, I really like this move for the Houston Texans. Alongside of offensive line, we were talking about wide receiver. And in the first round, we were talking about either getting your tackle or guard of the future or potentially a wide receiver, which is why we were having conversations about Emeka Ibuka and just 2 picks away, Matthew Golden. But with that being said, the Houston Texans also passed up on Luther Burden, which was someone that a lot of Houston Texans fans wanted, myself included. But I am not mad at having another 6'4" wide receiver opposite of Nico Collins, and he's going to come in and immediately be the Houston Texans wide receiver 3/2. I am excited for the wide receiver room. This is the most comfortable I've been in a very long time. Well, I was very comfortable last year. However, in terms of if people go down, you got bodies. Nico Collins, Christian Kirk, John Mechie, Xavier Hutchinson, Braxton Berrios, Justin Simmons, Jaden Higgins. And we'll talk about the other wide receiver that we added. But I am also confident because, man, dude, there's just a lot of youth now. Do like Jaden Higgins. I'm excited for him to see what he could do. I think he will have an immediate impact in year one. Number 2, Ariante Ursary, who the Houston Texans took with the 48th pick, so they traded up for him out of Minnesota. The Texans offensive line offseason overhaul continues here with Ursary addition. Over the last 2 seasons, Ursary showcased an explosive first step and quick feet, allowing him to significantly impact zone blocking schemes with his 89.5 PFF grade charted in the 84th percentile. Let's go to his draft profile here. That's not what we did. There you go. We're going to his draft profile. First look, Ursary, he is 6'6", 330 pounds, 23 years old. Ursary brings alluring size and length to the tackle position for the NFL. He has good hands, an explosive first step forward, and quick footwork to be an impactful zone blocker, but his natural high waist build impacts his leverage and may inhibit him from keeping NFL rushers in front of him. Ursary was a 3-year starter at left tackle for Minnesota from 2022 to 2024. His size stands out, and he measures 6'6", 330 pounds. He is light on his feet despite his size and has an explosive first step using high PFF run blocking grades in zone assignments. Ursary has the foot quickness to make it to his landmarks in pass protection, but can struggle against fast edge rushers sometimes because he is high-waisted. His pad levels is high pre-snap, and his pop up when the ball is snapped. He pops up high when the ball is snapped, which allows bendier edge rushers to get under his arm. To mitigate that, he lunges, which also gets his way too far on his toes and off balance. When Ursary keeps rushers between the shoulders, he has the girth and the weight to anchor, neutralize, and move them. He has good eyes on stunts and twists, but can struggle to stay in front of rushers when they get when they get across his face one-on-one. Sorry for that mess up, man. Cottonmouth is kicking my ass right now. But like I mentioned with Ariante Ursary, I do like the pick for the future, but I just don't think he will be playing significant snaps for you in 2025. And this is all the work the Houston Texans did in the draft for the offensive line. This is where my concern comes from, because when you compare this new starting offensive line, which I think is going to be Cam Robinson at left tackle, Titus Howard at left guard, Juice at center, Ed Ingram maybe at right guard, because I said Laken Tomlinson at right guard, and one of the family members let us know that Lincoln's never been a right guard, more towards the left side. And then Blake Fisher at right tackle. That was who I thought was going to be the starting offensive line before this draft. And it's the same. It's the exact same. So I don't know what the Houston Texans plan is at O-line. Do they really think that the spirit of competition and a new scheme can be what this O-line needs. And here's the thing. If you go from the second most sacked quarterback to the sixth, seventh most sacked quarterback, can you really say that's an improvement? We just got to wait and see, ladies and gentlemen. But I am very concerned about the offensive line. I am excited, though, for Ante Ursary. Moving on to the third, this was a huge surprise. The Houston Texans, they double dip, not only at receiver, but from the same college. In the third round, pick 79, the Houston Texans with Jalen Noel out of Iowa State. Noel brings strength and athleticism to the slot for the Texans. He earned a 81.7 PFF receiving grade with 2.62 yards per route run in 2024, showing good body control on off-target passes and looking explosive with the ball in his hands. Let's go to his draft profile. Oh, 1 second. Noel is a compact and powerful slot receiver who wins with good first step and can succeed in the NFL offense where the quarterback holds the ball a little longer in the pocket. CJ Shaw does that. He'll need to be more dynamic after the catch to earn a consistent starting role in the league. 5'11", 200 pounds, 22 years old. Noel was not only a good high school football player, but also an all-conference high jumper and sprinter. That track background is the baseline of how he wins as a receiver. His first step has a lot of power and explosion, which helps him win off press and out of his breaks. His explosiveness and separation ability make him an effective horizontal player for dig/mess routes and crossers. Though Noah's acceleration is very good, his long speed is average for the NFL level. He has strong but unspectacular hands with a limited catch radius due to shorter arms. He could use more of a playmaker's mentality for forcing missed tackles after catches. Noel sometimes struggles with getting off press if a defensive back gets his hands on him early. I think this is going to be a big surprise for the Houston Texans. It would not surprise me if Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins are immediate day one impactful players for this Houston Texan offense. It would not surprise me if the more explosive plays come from a Jalen Noel, because when I see Jaden Higgins, I see Nico Collins. When I see Jalen Noel, I see Tank Dell. Wouldn't I? Oh, man, you get Tank Dell type of production from Jalen Noel. Hey, Tank Dell, take all the time you need. Come back when healthy. But I think this was a splash move. Steve Smith loved the move. Good job, Houston, by securing the future of your wide receiver room. And in the third round, the Texans traded up once again. Oh, I'm sorry, this was happening during a trade. So they had pick 97, and they took Jalen Smith, cornerback out of USC. Houston continues to add to a strong secondary, although Smith posted a career best 82.5 PFF coverage grade on the outside in 2024. He profiles as a solid option in the slot. He allowed just 0.9 yards per coverage snap and a 59.8 passer rating when targeted this past season. Let's go to his draft profile here. Smith is built like a nickel, but posted a career best 82.5 coverage grade while playing on the outside in 2024. He generally does well to prevent yards after the catch, but his lack of elite speed and length leads to very low force incompletion rates. Smith projects as a versatile backup special teamer with his experience inside, outside, and at safety working in his favor. Look, this was a surprise because, like we mentioned, we thought offensive line was going to be a area where the Houston Texans attack. No, this felt like a Frank Ross move, and that was brought up by Harley. And I have to agree, a lot of fans were very surprised by this move, but after watching the highlights, after watching the tape, they've come to like Jalen Smith. I'm happy he's here, but this is where I get confused, because in the third round, there was still some talent on the offensive line, and you go cornerback, someone who is not going to play significant time for you in year one, in 2025. On the special teams, for sure. But your cornerback room is set. Derek Stingley, Kalen Bullock. Your safety room is set. I'm sorry, Kamari Lassiter. Your safety room is set. Kalen Bullock, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Jimmy Ward. I would have thought the first 3 rounds the Texans get at least 3 day one impactful players, impactful starters. Moving on, in the 4th round, Joquavius Marks, Woody Marks, running back out of UFC. Now the Texans had to trade up for Woody. After spending 4 years as a regular member of the Mississippi State backfield, Woody Marks transferred to USC, where he set a career high in PFF rushing grade 85.9, overall PFF grade 83.4, rushing yards 1,154, and missed tackles force 34 on 622 career collegiate carries. Marks fumbled only once. Marks joins a backfield that features Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce as the Texans continue to load up on offense in this draft. Let's go to his draft profile. Man, the Mochos are kicking my ass today. Mark's athlete ability make him an intriguing day 3 back. To stand out in the NFL, he must improve his yards above expectations before becoming more decisive when making defenders miss in space. Marks was a 4-star running back in high school track standout at Carver High School in Atlanta, Georgia, where he rushed for over 6,300 career yards, while averaging 10.4 yards a carry on the track. He competed in the 100-meter and the 4x100 relay. Marks started all 4 seasons at Mississippi State before transferring to USC for his final year of eligibility. His athleticism is his calling card. He is explosive in short areas and has massive long speed. His quick footwork allows him to shift around behind man and gap blocking schemes, while his strong momentum speed makes him effective in zone concepts. He also has ample experience as a receiver. His biggest drawbacks as a prospect stem from inconsistent vision and indecisiveness when lining up defenders one-on-one. Despite his athletic ability, his forced missed tackle rate is lower than expected. He is a willing pass protector, but likely won't be a mainstay in that role at the pro level due to his lighter frame, 5'10", 208 pounds. Now he's old, 27 years old. 24 years old. I'm 27, dear God. But hey, the Houston Texans get a potential backup running back of the future. The question is, what happens with Dameon Pierce? What happens with Dare? Who is the odd man out? I think it's Dare, because Woody Marks is considered to be a really good pass catching running back. It's kind of what Dare was for you. So maybe Dare is the odd man out. But your top, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, your top 5 picks, you went wide receiver, offensive line, wide receiver, cornerback, running back. You went offensive heavy. Now, as we get to the 6th round, I wonder if we're going to have any draft profiles on these guys. We will see. But in the 6th round, the Texans went safety Jalen Reed out of Penn State. This is a good value pick, with the Texans securing PFF 134 ranked prospect at number 87. Reed is a physical downhill box safety who earned an 80.5 PFF run defense grade in 2024. Let's see if there is a draft profile. There is, but a small one. Reed is a stout box safety who fits well as a depth option in aggressive schemes that keeps one safety near the line of scrimmage. His coverage skills remain a work in progress, but when kept downhill, he shows the physicality to be a reliable run defender. Is this Jalen Petre's backup? It might be. It sounds like they're going to be playing that same, star nickel role close to the line of scrimmage. Don't mind that pick at all. Also, they talked about how high his football IQ is. 6th round, Texans quarterback Graham Mance. This shocked everyone. Like I said, every pick that wasn't an offensive lineman shocked me. After a career-long After a long career as Wisconsin starter, Mertz spent the past 2 seasons at the helm in Gainesville with mixed results. In his final season, he struggled to fend off freshman phenom DJ Lagway before a Week 7 ACL tear ended his college career. Aside from a bad opening game against Miami, Mertz had been throwing the ball well as he didn't have a PFF passing grade below 76.0 in any of his 4 games he played. Let's look at his draft profile. It's a long one. Mertz is efficient in structure with good accuracy and decision making, but his downfield passing remains inconsistent. His starter level football intelligence makes him worth a draft pick, but he may lack the deep ball ability to be a long-term option in the NFL. Mertz possesses good size and adequate NFL arm strength, along with decent escapability. Though he lacks high-end mobility, his experience serves him well under pressure as he has earned high grades in that area over the last 2 seasons. He reads defenses well pre-snap and does a good job manipulating defenders with his eyes while working through progressions on time. Despite his high completion percentages, his accuracy in true ball placement can be inconsistent. His 2023 season was his most efficient, but it also featured his lowest average target depth and big-time throw percentage. When he attempts to push the ball downfield, his efficiency declines. Multiple turnover-worthy plays marred his performances against Miami and Texas A&M. He also has a bit of sidearm release, which can contribute to some of his ball placement issues. Now, oh, nice. Now, I wonder what happened with Davis Mills. Mills Mafia stand up. How you feeling? You guys let me know. Is Graham going to be your quarterback 30? Do the Houston Texans have a trade in place for Davis Mills? Hey, if I seen Kenyon Green and a 6th-round pick be traded for CJ Gardner-Johnson, anything could happen. But I was very shocked the Houston Texans went with the quarterback. Now, I think the last 2 players don't have draft profiles. Let me look at Luke Lackey, because I know that there wasn't one. Oh, yeah, there is one. All right, so let's go to, let's see, they have one for Keontae Hamilton. There. So Keontae Hamilton, ladies and gentlemen, did not have a draft profile done by PFF. Despite being a regular part of Rutgers' defense rotation over the past few seasons, it wasn't until 2024 that he truly stood out. Posting a PFF grade of 81.3, he was particularly dominant against UCLA in Week 8, recording 6 pressures and 2 sacks with a 92.0 pass grade. You know, Keontae Hamilton, I think this was a good ad for the Houston Texans defensive line room. I think at the defensive tackle spot, the only thing you are lacking is youth, and you get that with Keontae. Now, moving to the Houston Texans' final pick, I believe this is Mr. Irrelevant, Luke Lackey, tight end out of Iowa. Lackey will likely get drafted due to his pedigree and because he's the latest in the Royal tight end pop line from the Iowa Hawkeyes to the NFL. However, for him to stick, he must get quicker and stronger. Right now, he's not an NFL caliber in either area. 6'6", 247 pounds, 23. He has good length and height to play tight end. His blocking fundamentals are generally good due to quick feet married with inside hands to latch on. However, he lacks the strength to be consistent and may be a net negative blocker in the league. As a receiver, he has strong and reliable hands. However, his movement skills are lacking. He feels stiff changing direction and has top speed after his broken ankle does not seem to be average for the NFL level. Well, seems like we have a project here at tight end. And that wraps it up, ladies and gentlemen. The Houston Texans, the 2025 draft class, Jaden Higgins, wide receiver out of Iowa State. Ariante Ursary, offensive lineman out of Minnesota. Jalen Noel, wide receiver out of Iowa State. Jalen Smith, cornerback out of USC. Joquavius Marks, running back out of USC. Jalen Reed, safety out of Penn State. Graham Mertz, quarterback out of Florida. Keontae Hamilton, defensive lineman out of Rutgers, and Luke Lackey, tight end out of Iowa. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes the draft class for the Houston Texans. I give it a C+. I give it a C+, and I have some concerns about the O-line. But you guys let me know your thoughts and comments down below. For more Houston Texans content, you guys know what to do. Feel free to follow me for more. Go Houston. Have a very blessed day.